After the last dove was freed from its cage, the passage to the crimson rains was opened, where the heart in the sky beat eagerly in anticipation of the birth of the miracle child. When the Penitent One reached the highest point of the unnatural skies, he met Eviterno, the first of the penitents. This withered old warrior had been burdened with the penance of eternal contemplation as he awaited this very moment for what seemed like an eternity. The Penitent One, however, was unmatched in his mercy and grace and brought a swift end to their encounter. This would mark the beginning of the end for the age of penitence. In this video, I aim to provide a concise yet detailed explanation of the true ending for Blasphemous 2. But before we witness the miracle reborn, it's time to give credit where it's due. Kudos to the good Donald for locating the Easter egg hidden in the last thumbnail. If you look closely, you'll notice the sacred Mea Culpa sword is hidden amongst the border on the left-hand side of the thumbnail. If you're new to the channel, I've started playing a game with viewers where I hide an Easter egg in the thumbnail of each of my videos. The first person to state what and where it is gets a shout out in the following video. Now, back to the matter at hand. In order to obtain the true ending for Blasphemous 2, the Penitent One must locate 4 unique altar pieces of favor and set them ablaze to use their ashes for a sacred incense. Each of these carved figures represent one of the holy envoys, Cierzo, Gregal, Leveche, and Haloke, whose mere presence symbolizes complete absolution. As I've stated before in the Complete Story Explained video, incense is incredibly important in Catholicism, and is traditionally used in ceremonies of purification and sanctification. This is a necessary process in order to be granted the eternal blessing of the great grace in the cradle of life. The incense of the envoys is of utmost importance because it marks the one who has performed the ultimate sacrifice as worthy, thus allowing passage to return to the heavens. Note how before the Penitent One ascends to the birthplace of the miracle, he is prompted with a message stating, "Your expiation awaits." Expiation is defined as the act of making amends or reparations for guilt or wrongdoing. Essentially, it is atonement for one's sins. This serves to remind you of the namesake of the very game itself, blasphemy, which the Penitent One had to commit in order to destroy the sadistic high wills and free the people of Custodia from the twisted nature of the grievous miracle eons ago. Those 3 simple words support the fact that the Penitent One was still unclean and remained tainted from his previous associations with the miracle. The true ending is incredibly intriguing because it reveals that it was not the miracle that awakened the Penitent One, but rather the powers that be in the cradle of life. This explained why Annunciata was quite literally the first being to greet the silent Savior upon his resurrection and instruct him on how to complete his divine pilgrimage. As the miracle child took his first breaths, he expressed his confusion and questioned the reason for his birth. As he spoke, he directed his questions not to the Penitent One, but rather to a deific force known only as the Higher Will, which of course was no coincidence. The High Wills were the deceptive triumvirate of false gods who manipulated the grievous miracle and assumed the station of a supreme being to rule over the devotees of Custodia, who had been blinded by their faith. After their supposed destruction by the hands of Chrysanta and the Penitent One, their influence and stranglehold over both Custodia and the miracle was released. However, in their desperation, they sought only to survive and be worshipped for all eternity. Their desires assumed a physical form and manifested itself into their magnum opus, Incarnate Devotion. This explains the similarity in their appearance, as both the High Wills and the newborn miracle share pale white flesh adorned with gold. An epic battle ensued, but the Penitent One emerged victorious. Sadly, the miracle child would die without ever understanding his true purpose, which was simply the perpetuation of the miracle's existence and eternal affliction of the people. The dying wish of the High Wills, who had manipulated it eons ago. Weary from battle, the Penitent One found Annunciata and the 4 envoys in the clouds and ascended into the cradle of all blessings, where the great grace would watch over him for all eternity, along with other saints of renown who had served before him. He would be preserved in both body and soul within the ancient canvas of light and time. At last, the penitence was complete. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me know that you want more content just like this. Click on these videos here to continue your journey through the unknown, and I'll be there to guide you when you arrive. Consider becoming a member for exclusive perks like emojis, members-only videos, and more. Or consider checking out my Ko-fi or Patreon page if you want behind-the-scenes content and sneak peeks into my creative process. Until next time, it's the Inhuman One signing out. Join the Inhuman community today.